and last year during my spring break, I took my driver's test. And on that morning, my dad comes in my room at around 6:30 and comes up to my bed and starts shaking me to wake up. And my thought was, what is going on? Like, is something going on in the house? He just wakes me up and says, hey, get up, we're gonna go and pick your mom up from work. And I'm like, what? I'm still like trying to put everything together to figure out what's going on. And so he's like, everything's okay in the house, just get up. It's almost 7 o'clock and your mom's waiting for us at work. So I was like, huh, okay. So I went to my bathroom just to splash cold water in my face. And then after that, I went to my room and got dressed. And after that, I met my dad downstairs and he was already waiting by the door with the keys in his hand. So I was like, okay, so I guess I'm driving. So I get the keys from his hand, and we got in the car, and then we were off to go pick my mom up from work. And it only took us like 10 minutes because it was just a straight road, and it was pretty close. So anyways, right when we got there, I looked around for my mom, and I was like, where is she? I looked at my dad, I was like, where is she? I thought she's, like you said, she was going to be out here already. And he was like, oh, well, I don't know, I guess she's doing something upstairs. So I was like, okay, so what are we gonna do for the past time? He was like, well, there's a parking spot in the back where there's nobody over there. So I was like, I guess I'm gonna be practicing my parking. And he's like, well, you're not gonna learn it on your own, are you? And I'm like, that's true. So we head back there, and then I practiced parking for 5 minutes. And sooner or later, my mom calls, and she's furious. She's like, where are you guys? I've been waiting for you. And I was just like, whoa, I thought she wasn't even out there. I didn't even see her. And so my dad was like, just calm down, we're on our way. We're only in the back for 5 minutes. So I'm like, all right, I hope she doesn't like get mad at us at the time. So I see her at the entrance. I park next to her. I was like, hey, Mom, good morning. And then suddenly she goes, yeah, good morning to you too. I've been waiting for you guys for 5 minutes. And I'm like, what? I didn't even see you. And so I let that go, and I drove us back home. And right when we got home, my mom got out of the car. She told me, she was like, you did a good job driving. You'll pass your test for sure. And so I was like, okay, thanks, Mom. So right when I was reaching for the key to turn off the car, my dad was like, hold on, what are you doing? And I'm like, what do you mean, what am I doing? I'm going to turn the car off. I'm going to go back to bed. And he was like, no, you're not. We're going to go in the neighborhood and practice your parallel parking and your three-point turns. And I'm like, okay. So for 2 hours, I went around the neighborhood practicing my parallel parking and my three-point turns, which was not even on the test. And so after those 2 hours, we came home and turned the car off. I went straight to my room and slept. So after 2 hours, my dad comes in my room and says, hey, wake up, it's time to go take your test. And I'm like, oh, all right. So I got dressed, and I got dressed, and then we were on our way to Westminster. Apparently, it's so much easier over there instead of Fullerton. So I was like, okay. So in the car, I looked at my dad. I was like, do you think I'll pass my test? And he tells me, no, you're not. You're not ready yet. You're not confident in your driving, and you're not ready yet. So I was like, okay. So in my head, while I was driving, I told him, I was driving, and in my head, I was like, I'm going to prove it to you. So right when we got in line, it was an hour wait until the lady gave me my test, and so I waited an hour, and then 5 minutes, after 5 minutes after that hour, she comes to my car. We did all these hand signal things, and we took off, and I did my test. And so the test took like around 5 minutes, and I was really nervous because I saw her writing so many things on her clipboard, and I was trying not to get distracted from that while taking my test. And so she tells me to make a right turn, and if we were back in the DMV, she writes a couple more things, and she gives me a paper right after, and she's like, congratulations, you passed the test. Now, at this time, I wanted to yell out, like, yeah, Dad, I told you I could pass the test, but I couldn't. So I got out of the car, I told him I passed, I gave him the keys, And then I went in to go get my license, and that was the best day of my life.